Battle of the Little Bighorn, 1876. The Battle of the Little Bighorn took place on June 25, 1876, between the regular army of the United States and several Native American tribes. This battle became the greatest victory for the Native Americans. In the history of the Wild West, it began 1 week after the Native Americans' earlier victory at the Battle of the Rosebud. After the Rosebud Battle, the Native leaders decided to move toward the Little Bighorn River. There, large camps of the Sioux, Cheyenne, Arapaho, and other Native peoples had gathered. According to American historians, there were between 400 and 3,000 Native warriors in that camp. At the same time, U.S. forces began dividing their troops into several columns. One of these was commanded by General Alfred Terry, under whom the Civil War hero Lieutenant Colonel George Custer led the 7th Cavalry Regiment. On June 22nd, Terry ordered Custer to take one column and block the Native Americans' escape route. Custer's force consisted of 12 cavalry companies, a group of Native scouts, and a large supply of ammunition. According to various sources, the total number of his troops ranged from 600 to 700 men. When they came upon the Native camp, Custer, who had been involved in several previous conflicts and was eager to restore his reputation through victory, decided to attack. He divided his forces into 3 battalions, leaving one behind to guard the rear. However, the battalion under Major Marcus Reno met fierce resistance from the Native warriors. They were forced to take up defensive positions and eventually retreat. The 2nd Battalion, led by Captain Frederick Benteen, moved to support Reno's men. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Colonel George Custer's own battalion advanced downstream along the Little Bighorn River. Because of the hills and terrain, the Americans could not immediately see the full size of the Native camp. Historians believe that Custer first intended to capture the Native families, hoping this would force the warriors to surrender their weapons. However, the main Native forces, outnumbering Custer's troops by 15 to 20 times, surrounded his battalion. The 5 companies under his command were wiped out, and Custer himself was killed on the spot. After that, the Native warriors attacked the positions of Reno and Benteen's remaining battalions. The Americans held out with great difficulty until the following day. When the natives learned that General Terry's reinforcements were approaching, they began to withdraw. In total, during the Battle of the Little Bighorn, the Americans lost about 260 soldiers, while the natives lost around 35 warriors and had about 80 wounded. In addition, 6 Sioux women and 4 children were killed, according to historians. At that time, the total strength of the U.S. armed forces was around 25,000 men, meaning that in just one day, they had lost nearly 1% of their entire army.